What up, Finn fans? Welcome to another episode of the Finn Posse Podcast. I'm your host, Big C. This is brought to you by Game Changers Media. How is everybody doing today? Friday morning. How's everybody doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Great news. Me and Mike will be back Monday. Me and Mike will be on the Game Changers channel. Make sure you're subscribed over there. I want to say, let's say 8 o'clock. Go for 8 o'clock. Me and Mike will have a brand new show for everyone that will deal with the NFL as a whole. Of course, we'll have our fair share of Dolphins talk over there, but it's a full NFL show breaking down the whole NFL, the whole league, and it'll be a good time. Me and Mike have a good time. Me and Mike, we have a good sense of humor with each other. I mean, some people might think it's not funny, but we'd be cracking each other up at least. But yeah, Miami Dolphins news. Day 2 of training camp practice with the Detroit Lions. Listen, can we all got to take a breath here, right? We all got to take a breath because, and I'm guilty of it. I'll be the first to admit I'm guilty of it. You know, you see something, you hear some bad news, and automatically you assume the worst. You think of the worst, and that's not always the case, right? That's not always the case. Good morning, Bonnie. Good morning, Glenn. Finspin, what's up, brother? That's not always the case, and this team has hurt a lot of our feelings for the last a lot of years, right? So, it's understandable that we constantly fear the worst or assume the worst for this football team. But let's take a breath. Let's give it a shot. We're in training camp. These are joint practices. We're not putting our best foot forward necessarily, right? This is a time to try different things, try different players at different positions, just a litany of different things that happen in training camp that aren't real game scenarios, right? Like let's even take, for instance, yesterday. We got, what's his name? What's a Black, our wide receiver Black, Tyreek Black. Listen, I don't even know the guy's name. He's playing with the ones. You know what I mean? He's playing with the ones, and he's not even our top 5. He's not even going to make the roster. Let's be real. He's not even going to make the roster. But he's out there rocking with the ones, and we're going, oh, the number one offense. Our number one offense can't score points. Or Tua's not playing good against Detroit's defense. Detroit's defense is dominating. Listen, when you got Tyreek, what's his name? Somebody got his name. The guy's not going to make the roster. Somebody got his name, so I don't keep messing it up. Regardless, you got this guy out there as the number 1, number 2 receiver on some of these drives that the first team offense is rocking with. Yeah, Glenn, what's his first name? And you wonder why. And then on the other side of the ball, you got St. Brown, who's one of the top receivers in all of football, doing our young defensive backs dirty. And you're like, well, look at Detroit's offense and look at our offense. Well, our offense don't got Tyreek Hill out there. You know what I mean? So I think we all need to take a step back, a breath. We're trying corners in different positions. We're trying to figure out who is our starting corners, who is our number 1 corner, who is our number 2 corner. We're trying to figure a bunch of things out. We don't, Detroit, I think, is pretty set with their lineup. They were one of the best teams in the league. Tyreek Black. Thank you, Finspin. But he's running with our ones yesterday, and then how are we going to really get a insight of how good this offense is if we're running with Tyreek Black as one of our number 1 receivers? Now, yesterday's practice was way better, way more competitive. And it's not a thing that even the day before, it wasn't a thing where they were being more physical than us or they were dominating us physically. It wasn't that. It was not that. Even with the Chicago Bears, I wouldn't say that were they being more physical than us? Yeah, they were taking, like I said, they were taking cheap shots at us. And I'm going to put this right here. And no matter what I do or what I say or what evidence I show, it's not going to be good enough for some people. But right here, Dolphins head coach Mike McDaniel said before practice that he and Bears counterpart Ben Johnson had agreed there would be no live tackling, only thudding. Well, the Detroit Lions are the Chicago Bears went out and tackled players. They went out and tackled players. So much so that they knocked Jalen Waddle out of practice. They knocked our quarterback to the ground multiple times. Would I call that them being more physical than us? No, I would call that they were taking liberties with our football team. And I don't think that's right. But again, I don't think yesterday or the day before yesterday was Detroit being a more physical team than us. Like Grant Stewart was trying to imply that Detroit was going to dominate us physically. No, Detroit has a better roster than the Miami Dolphins does. That's just the facts of the matter. Detroit is a team that is primed to win right now. There's not very many holes on the Detroit Lions roster. This is a team that has been together. They're not trying to fit pieces in. They know where people are going to play. They know what kind of scheme they're going to run. They know who's going to be in on certain plays. This is just warming up for them. So, yeah, they're going to take advantage of our cornerbacks that we don't even know which ones are starting. They're going to take advantage of wide receivers that aren't even going to be on our roster at the beginning of the season. But yesterday we performed way better, and that's without Devon Achane. That's without Tyreek Hill. That's with a limited Jalen Waddle. That's without Zach Sealer on the other side of the ball. That's without Jalen Phillips on the other side of the ball. Yet this team still came out and competed. They competed yesterday. And it was way more competitive than it was the day before. These last two practices is what Dolphins are. They do something with Buffalo. The Bills punk us first game. Second game, we play harder. Yeah, I mean, again, the Miami Dolphins are a team that's trying to figure it out, right? We got a lot of new pieces. And yeah, St. Brown's out there looking like Jerry Rice, right? Going against, let's be real, our cornerback room's not very good. Our defensive back guys are not very good right now. They're young. That's not a strength of our football team. So when you go put an all-pro wide receiver lined up against a weakness of our football team, yeah, he's going to look great. He's going to dominate. But that's the reality for the Miami Dolphins. Let's be real. And that's why I think Chris Greer needs to still make a move for this roster. Now, if you want if you want to let a lot of these young guys rock out, cool. But I still think you need to go find a guy that can play the number one corner, and so we can match up better. Because most teams have a number one wide receiver. Most teams have a very good number one wide receiver. Now, obviously, every team's going to have a number one wide receiver by default, but most teams have, I wouldn't say most teams have a Jamar Chase, but they got a wide receiver that, is going to give our young defensive backs problems. So I do think we need to go get someone that can compete with most teams' number ones. I think we do need to do that. If you want Storm Duck to be the number 2, cool. Jack Jones be 3, cool. Or whatever order you have these defensive backs in, I'm cool with that. But I do think we need to at least get one savvy vet, one corner that is upper echelon. You know, he doesn't gotta be a star, but he's gotta be able to compete with the number 1 wide receivers in this league. Now, did the defense play lights out yesterday? No. The defense didn't play lights out. They didn't play bad, but they didn't play lights out yesterday. But they're going against one of the best offenses in all of football. Detroit Lions got one of the best offenses in all of football. We all do need, like Frozen said, we all need to take a collective breath. This is a work in progress. We still have multiple weeks before the start of the regular season. We're getting a chance to continue to grow. Every practice is crucial for these young guys, specifically in the secondary. These are guys that haven't played together. These are guys that don't have a ton of experience necessarily. We got to let them gel. We got to let them get a feel. Offensively, we performed a million times better yesterday. And that's without our starting halfback. That's without our all-pro wide receiver. That's without our tight end, you know, whether Darren Waller ends up producing for us this year or not. I'm hoping Darren Waller produces something. He's a great athlete. He has great physical tools. That's without our right tackle. And all these snaps are crucial. All these snaps are crucial for Jonah. All these snaps are crucial for Daniels. Daniels coming back from a major injury. Jonah, a rookie. Snaps are crucial for Patrick Paul. Kenneth Grant. All these guys are going to continue to prove each and every practice. And they're going to get better and better. So we got to take a breath. Sometimes are we going to get dominated? We got dominated the first day of practice against the Detroit Lions. Detroit's an elite team. They're an elite team. But I'm proud that we fought back yesterday. I'm glad that we fought back yesterday. I'm glad that we were able to show some fight and compete yesterday. And that's with a lot of key pieces still missing. Who was Detroit missing? Who is Detroit missing? Someone said Detroit was trash. Detroit is one of the best teams in the league, in my opinion. I mean, they would have had a great chance at making the Super Bowl last year if they were destroyed by injuries on the defensive side of the ball. They got a great rushing attack. They got a number 1 receiver. They got a speed receiver. They got a good tight end. Great offensive line. Top end pass rusher. They went out and got DJ Reed. They got a good safety. Detroit's a very good team. Detroit's an elite team. What up, Joe? So I'm proud that this team fought back yesterday. And I really, truly believe each and every practice, they're getting better and better and better. They're going to get better and better and better. And we just gotta take a step back and give him a chance. But Chris Greer does need to get on the horn. Let's not mistake that for what it is. Chris Greer needs to make a move. And Miller, the Cleveland Browns got a couple corners. They said Detroit's taking a step back this year. You can't make. I don't see that. Detroit's gonna win that division without a doubt. They're going to be one of the top 3 teams. In the NFC, I see it being Detroit, Washington, and Philly. Those are your top 3 in the NFC. We still need quality cornerback and O-line depth, but mark my words, Storm Duck is legit. And I think Storm Duck's going to be a good corner, but I don't think it's smart to start the season with Storm Duck being your number 1. I don't think that's smart. I just don't think that's overly smart. And CBA3 says we need to trade for a corner. Absolutely. We got draft capital. Let's be real. Chris Greer messed up not going out and getting Jair Alexander. And I know Jair wanted to play with Lamar and he would have rather been in Baltimore, blase, blah. If you would have gave him $8 million instead of the 4 he got, he would have been here. And Jair Alexander, when healthy, is a top 10 corner in this league. Now, would it have been a risk? Yes. Would it have been a risk? Yes. But listen, it's a risk to go into the season with what we have at corner. It's a risk to go into the season with the offensive line depth we have. It's a risk. We're obviously in the business of taking risks. Detroit lost its offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. You think they'll be able to replicate success immediately? They lost one. Listen, they are just a phenomenally talented team. Coaches coach. Yeah, you're right. But I'm sure there's guys under them that know what they're doing. They got a talent. Detroit's got a talented enough team. They got 2 very good running backs. Gibbs is going to be a star. Gibbs is a star. St. Brown's a beast. Laporta, Jomo, their speedy wide receiver. Offensive line's a problem. You got Hutchinson on the defensive side of the ball, who's a beast. If he would have got hurt last year, he would have probably been in the discussion for defensive player of the year. Detroit, mark my words, will win 13 games this year. If that's a step back, I guess that's a step back. Greer's job is super safe, or we would have made a move already. I mean, you got an extra 3rd round pick. You got an extra 3rd round pick, an extra third. You can look at what you can get for a 3rd round. You can get a player. I mean, what we trade Jalen Ramsey for? You know what I mean? And I'm not a big Jalen Ramsey fan, but I think Jalen Ramsey is probably still a top 15 corner in this league. And I think if you bring in a top 15 corner to this football team, that does us wonders. You're going to have Jay and Sheffield as corner. You're not getting any better corners than you have. No one is trading top. I don't know, Glenn. You never know. There's player. Listen, you got Parsons on the trading block, so I wouldn't necessarily know that you can't get a decent corner at this time of year. The picture always changes after roster shakeout on cut day. The Cleveland Browns got 2 decent corners. Cleveland knows they're not winning this year. Money talks. Money talks. There's players out there that are going to be free agents at the end of the year that teams aren't going to be able to re-sign. You go and you offer a 3rd round pick for one of those guys. I ain't even gonna pay you no mind today, but you better hope that your boy don't go down hurt this year. Because if he go down hurt, it's a wrap for you. If you think the Chicago Bears are going to beat the Detroit Lions, you're tripping because of a coach. Because of a coach. Because of a coach, you're tripping. Miller, like you put too much emphasis on, like he's a coach. Yeah, coaches are a big deal. Look at Detroit's roster compared to the Bears roster. No way Detroit wins that division. You're crazy. You're crazy. What other roster on that in that division can compete with Detroit? The Bills aren't as good as you think they are. You love to think that the Bills are some great team. The Bills have a great quarterback. Other than that, their team is very pedestrian. You act like the Bills got all pros all over the field. They don't. They don't. You got an all pro quarterback, one of the top 2-3 quarterbacks in this league. Chicago's not going to be in the running, nothing. Yeah, I don't even know if Chicago finishes out the basement in that division. You got Minnesota and the Packers in that division. You talking about the Bears. The Buffalo, this notion that the Buffalo Bills are the super team, they're not. They got a super quarterback. But as far as their team, again, Miller, one player does not make that big of a difference. I don't think if Parsons went to the Packers that they're beating Detroit neither. Detroit has a well-rounded team. Again, they got an elite quarterback. Like, okay, their team is not great. They don't got a great team. I didn't say they got necessarily a bad team, but their team is not what you try to make it out to be. Quarterback's different than defense. Quarterback's different than defense. We're talking about a guy that touches the ball every play to a guy that maybe affects 7 plays a game. I was hoping yours was going to get Isaiah Bond here to Miami. Didn't that kid get in trouble? Didn't Isaiah Bond get in trouble? So if a team adds a kicker, an elite kicker, that's the same as the quarterback? He's not up there with Aaron Donald. He's a good player. Parsons is a good player, but I think he has too much hype surrounding him. He's a good player. Sackman, he got cleared yesterday. Okay. He signed with Cleveland. Cleveland just trying to sign everybody, right? They got a whole bunch of pieces, but no idea how to put the puzzle together, right? They got so many pieces, different pieces, but no idea how to put the puzzle together. Right? If you look at the Cleveland Browns, they got a lot of talented pieces, right? But there's just no method to the madness. There's no method to the madness for them. Again, the Miami Dolphins need to make a move. Whether they can find someone, a dance partner for a trade, whether someone gets released, even like I said, even bringing Fuller back in the building, I think would be a win for the Miami Dolphins. He dealt with injuries last year. Yep, he did. But he a risk reward. He's not going to cost you a bunch. It's not going to cost you a bunch. And when he was on the field last year, he performed pretty well. Fuller would be a starter on this football team. There's no way. There's no way. Fuller would be a starter on this football team, Glenn. That's what I said, Sag, man. Fuller and Winch should be brought back. Someone said they already closed the door on Isaiah Wynn, though. I don't see why. I don't see why. Why would you? Isaiah Wynn can play in multiple positions. He's like Liam Eichenberg, except he's halfway decent. But like I said, everybody needs to just take a step back, take a breath. Let's Tyreek get healthy. Let Austin Jackson hopefully get healthy. Let these guys, these young guys, get more reps under their belt. Let these young guys get more reps under their belt. And we go from there. But every time something bad happens, we can't just 5 wins. We gotta let them take the field. Let them take the field. Give them an opportunity. Again, training camp is to experiment. It's to figure things out. It's not about wins and losses, right? And I think Mike McDaniel said it in his press conference maybe yesterday, the day before that. He's not concerned whether, they win a possession in training camp because the other team made a mistake and we were able to capitalize off it. No, he's concerned with whether we win a possession because we use the right scheme, we use the right play, we beat them straight up. You know what I mean? It's not about winning and losses. At this point, it's not about winning and losing. It's about doing things the correct way, not making mistakes, and doing your job, right? Figuring, testing different pieces, different positions, different areas, different players. All right, we know this guy's not our number one corner, but we're going to put him against the number one receiver to see how he does with adversity. Morning, Michael. I appreciate you, brother. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you spread the word. I've been kind of stuck on this 804 subs. So make sure you hit the sub button, notifications. Again, me and Mike, my cousin, will be back on Game Changers channel on Monday, breaking down the NFC. And then we'll do the AFC maybe on Friday. Tell you what teams, we'll go over each division and tell you who we like and talk about the key additions to each team and who we think's who's coming out of each division. We have a good time. It'll be an open panel. We'll bring guests on. But yeah, I mean, let's just take a breath. Take a break. The Dolphins The Dolphins answered back yesterday, and we're not at full strength. We're not. What's up, Blake? What time's the game tomorrow? I forgot all about the game tomorrow. Yeah, I probably will live stream during the game. One. Yeah, I'll probably live stream. I don't think Quinn got very many reps yesterday, honestly. I think it was just the ones and the twos. I don't think Quinn got reps yesterday like that. I think it was just the ones and the twos. I'm pretty sure that as of yesterday, there wasn't any starters playing. What's going on, Sean? Mike McDaniel said yesterday the plan was for no starters to play, which is a little weird for me. I don't understand why they played. I would have thought they would have played a quarter tomorrow, but and then held them out the third one. But maybe he plans on them playing the third. Maybe he wants them to play at home against Jacksonville that last one and get some confidence behind their backs. He looks worse than Tim Boyle. Come on, Miller. Quinn's having a decent training camp. He had a tough preseason game. Yeah, he did. But he's a rookie. That was his first pro action. But yeah, I'm curious. It's always fun to see all these players and get an idea whether you feel like they should make the team or not. Like I'm curious to see Jordan Phillips participate, Zeke Biggers, our young safeties, these corners. You're right, Doug. Preseason don't mean much. Come on, Miller. You've seen Skyler in real game action, though. Terrible. Don't even bring him up on my channel no more. Talk about Skyler Thompson. And the name just makes me sick. Just makes me sick. But yeah, I'll probably go live during the game tomorrow. I got a chiropractor appointment, so I got to cut this one a little short. I appreciate you all. Again, take a breath. Take a breath. Let's let things play out. All right. Let's start to worry if week one this is how we look. All right. Let's take a breath, and if week one this is how we look and the Colts come out and dominate us, then we got problems. But until then, let the process play out, give it an opportunity, and hopefully we make a couple roster moves. Hopefully we get healthy and Tyreek gets healthy, Austin Jackson gets healthy, and things turn out the way I hope they can. But I appreciate you. I love you all. Make sure you like, subscribe. Again, Monday, me and Mike Jones will be back over on the Game Changers channel, 8 p.m. I'll probably live stream the game if anybody wants to come through. I know you guys like the live stream with TD and Doug and them, but it's a good time over here, and you got a better chance of getting interacted with. So Danny Dimes ain't eating nothing up. Stop it, brother. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit that notification button. But until tomorrow, you know what it is. Fins up. Peace.